Welcome to the Ugly Truth.
Hey. We're in love with the beautiful Ugly. And her name's Ugg, and her name is Ugg, and her name is Ugg.
When you're in love with the beautiful Ugly.
I knew you would know that song. It's real. Most people don't know it's not called When You're in Love with the Beautiful Ugly.
Everybody wants her.
Yes.
Everybody loves
you.
her. Everybody wants to be da, 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 da.
When you're in
Yeah,
love
who sings
with
that
the
song? Beautiful Ugly. I don't know.
I like our version better. But
I love our version. Anyway, welcome to the Ugly Truth. So we just finished recording our recap of The Bachelor, season 28 with Joey. We have our opinions. You'll hear it. So we're talking about the Golden Bachelor was what made us want to start watching The Bachelor.
Yeah.
I definitely think that the Golden Bachelor was better.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Well, maybe because we're older.
Maybe.
I struggle with watching 20-something-year-olds vie over a man.
Yeah. You know what? Somebody said it great. They said, I remember being in my 20s too.
Yeah, same.
And this is a gentle reminder of that. The ones that are over 25 though are actually fine.
Yeah, they're good.
You know, it's the young ones
The
that
23,
are
24s.
And you know what? I watch them. I'm like, you're going to be so embarrassed.
I know, huh?
Like I know, because they're decent humans.
Yeah.
They're just immature. They're just young.
Yeah.
They're not going to end up being. They're going to just be like, oh my god, I just don't even want to talk about it. But enjoy while you can.
Yeah.
You know, you're never. YOLO, do whatever. You know, you only live once, you might as well go for it. With that being said, I don't know if you saw, but they did announce that there will be a Golden Bachelorette.
I don't know how I missed that, but
Yes.
I guess I
don't know when they announced it, to be fair. I just saw like a screenshot of it.
Okay.
But there will be a Golden Bachelorette. And there's been discussions about who are they going to pull from the Golden Bachelor.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Stephanie, I swear to God,
It better not be.
You know what? If it is, well, first of all,
It could be Susan.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's going to be her. But I swear to God, if it's Kathy, I'll throw my freaking phone at the TV.
Nobody wants to see that.
She's no.
She's a little. I don't want to say anything bad.
I told you she looks like Caitlyn Jenner to me.
Everybody thinks that.
Oh, okay.
She wants to meet Caitlyn Jenner, actually. And
Well,
Susan
she
wants to
probably will
meet
get
Kris
her-
Jenner.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious, actually. But no, the rumor is that it's likely Leslie.
Okay.
I don't want it, Stephanie.
I really don't want it to be her
want
either.
it.
I would prefer that they got a new one, but I know that that's
not
the way
how
it
they
goes.
do it. Yeah, they always pull from the pool, generally speaking. And it's not always the second runner-up, but usually it is because they've gone so far. But because it wasn't a very long season, it could be anybody. I know a lot of people really want it to be Joan or April or, you know, something like that. But who knows?
Yeah. Well, I
honestly,
can't remember all of them now, but
I don't really care who the Bachelorette is. I just want to know what kind of men
Bachelor, the potential.
Stephanie, that's going to be the best part.
Yeah, for sure.
The best part is going to be the guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Like, they're not going to all look like Gary.
No.
I'm just envisioning everyone. Hey, that's my grandpa. What's he doing?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how it was the first time, but
yeah, but the women were stunning.
They were. I feel
you think you're going to get a bunch of attractive men who want to date their own age?
I think they're going to have to find. I think the Bachelorette will need to be one of the younger women so that the men can be younger.
Yeah. So
they can't
Leslie is
have
good.
one in the 70s. Yeah, was she 60?
Yeah. She's 66.
Okay.
Oh no, she's not that old, is she?
One of them was like 60.
I think she was 61.
Yeah.
She was young. So was Faith. Everybody goes, oh, Faith would be great. I'm like, Faith doesn't want to do this. She's fine. She even said, she goes, I'm fine. I don't.
Who was the second runner-up? Leslie?
Leslie.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like it should be her. I would watch it because of her.
I would watch it.
I would too.
I would watch
hope
it.
She's in a better place. And
She's going to stand there going, I just want everyone to know I have a bad picker and you really have to have my back.
Well,
I'm like, ugh, the tropes.
One of the things about doing a show like this the second time is you get the benefit of watching yourself the first time.
That's true.
And you're like, I will never do that again. Like, why did I, you know what I mean?
Why did I lose my crap like that?
Yeah, you won't do it again.
Television. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so it has been some time since you and I have sat down behind.
Yeah, it's been weeks.
So something happened right after we recorded our last show, and it still stings, and I need to tell you about it because I told you about it minutes after it happened, but now I need to tell you about it.
Okay.
Where I get my Botox, she is doing some new services that she's done before, but because of the pandemic and some other things, she had put some stuff on hold. And so she's like, so I'm going to start doing Aqua Gold again. And there's a certain serum that I can use that really helps with rosacea. Because generally speaking, Aqua Gold isn't good for somebody who has rosacea, but this new stuff that we have is actually great for it. And so I'm looking for models to do like a before and after several treatments to see if it works and how well it works. And she's like, and I'm looking for models. I have rosacea, and would you like, if you want, sign up, and we have a waiting list going. And if you want to do it, you know, it's literally, you're only paying for the product. You're not paying for anything else. So it's like 90% off. It's really, really cheap. And I'm like, yeah, sign me up. Like, I don't care. I'll try anything once.
Yeah, hell
Except for fillers. I don't want to do fillers, but I'll try anything skin-wise.
Yeah,
Sure, what's the worst that could possibly happen?
Nothing.
So,
well,
I go in, and it's literally $100. Like, it's nothing.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm so excited. I'm like, let's do this. I'm like, let's do it.
Are you kidding me? $100? And this service would normally be what? Several hundred?
800.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow.
I'll never do it again. I'll never pay
$800.
No.
Okay.
But I walk in and they're like, yeah, come in. So they're like, okay, so we're going to put numbing cream on you because, you know, it's needles. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, it's needles?
It's
I was
very
thinking
common.
It was like a scrub or something.
No, they're putting it in your skin, your subdermal skin layers. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I mean, I get Botox. How much worse can it be?
I don't know. I've never had Botox.
They put the numbing cream all over my face. And it works really good.
That probably feels weird, huh?
It does feel weird. But, I mean, trust me, I was so grateful for it.
Oh, I bet.
Because it still hurt like hell.
Oh, God, Jamie, no!
Even with the numbing cream. So she comes in and she's like, okay.
Did you cry or tear?
No, it wasn't that bad. But it was... so she first starts going and she goes, yeah, this isn't working like I expected. She goes, let me look at this. And then I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really feel like anything. And all of a sudden the needle started to work. And I'm like, I feel it. And she's like, okay, it's fine. She's like, you are going to feel it. It's not painless,
completely,
but that's why we put the numbing cream on you. And I'm like, all right. So she's doing it. And I'm just laying there. I'm like, my mouth is like moving around, you know,
because it makes you twitch with each needle.
And I'm trying to stay still, you know, so that she can do this. So she does only one half of my face. And on the other half, she's going to do some laser treatment. Oh. So there can be a comparison. She's like, this is model, this is guinea pig stuff. This is how we do it. You're not going to get, so, and I was fully prepared. I signed a contract, everything.
Okay.
She uses it for social media so that you can see everything. She goes, are you okay with that? I'm like, yeah, because no one I know follows you, so I don't give a shit.
Right.
So anyway.
Only one who's going to be looking are people who are going to be wanting to do this.
Exactly.
And they're like, well, yeah, I can tell,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've only had one treatment. I have another one in a couple of weeks. Oh. So anyway, I go through the whole thing. The laser treatment is practically painless. I mean, I definitely feel it, but it's not.
The needle was worse.
Nothing. Yeah. Because it's your entire, she did my nose, above my lip, and that's all very sensitive areas.
Oh my God, yes.
But she did the whole thing. And then she goes, okay, we're going to do laser treatment on the other side. And so now I have broken blood vessels just from, genetically, we actually get them.
I have them too.
So she did one by my chin. She did one on my cheek and stuff like that. And she's like, okay, I'm already seeing an improvement on those. That's amazing. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Because luckily, I don't know if you found, our bodies respond very well to treatments or like teeth whitening or facials or anything. Our bodies respond quite well. So just so you know.
Good to know.
It does. So anyway, so I'm laying there.
Because according to Mother, you can't even put, Vaseline on without breaking out. Which is true for me. I am very sensitive.
Well, we do have sensitive skin, yes. Yeah, but if you can get through it, and I'm laying there going, the whole old adage of it takes pain to be beautiful is true. So I'm laying there. I'm like, okay. So then she goes, all right, just don't get up right away because you've been laying down for some time. And I'm like, all right. And I go, my face feels minty. And she's like, huh. And I said, is that normal? And she goes, well, there can be some burning from the procedure, the Aqua Gold procedure. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, it's really starting to burn now. Is that the cream, maybe the numbing cream or something? And she goes, nope. She goes, this is a very common. She goes, but you are having quite it's pretty red. She goes, so we're going to get some ice packs. And so they put some ice while I'm laying down. They're like, just relax. We're going to get a fan and we're going to put ice and we're going to, whatever. Now, she is an emergency room doctor. She does that. Plus she does this. This is her business. And then she also works in emergency rooms.
Oh, well, yeah. I was going to say, what's her name?
She's young.
Okay.
But she's been doing this for, she's been a doctor for years. But anyway, so she did this and she used to do both, actually. And now she's kind of cut back so that she can focus more on her
business. So you weren't worried you were going to die or anything?
I wasn't. And I kept asking her, I'm like, I know you know this, so I'm asking you, am I having an allergic reaction?
Yeah.
Because if it's an allergic reaction, then we need an EpiPen or something because I can feel the heat.
You're like, I don't want to like have my throat.
I don't want to have an anaphylactic shock or anything like that. Now, I'm very aware. I'm not panicking.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. I am surrounded by nurses and a doctor. I know I'm not going to die.
Right.
But I said, are you certain that this is an allergic reaction? She goes, you are not having an allergic reaction. I'm watching. I'm seeing. It's not even puffing up. It's just really red.
Yeah.
And it's, you're burning. It's burning because you can feel it. And I said, yeah. She's like, nope, you're fine. She asked me what my ethnicity was. And I said, why? Because some ethnicities respond differently to things. My dentist asked me the same thing.
Interesting.
And he told me the same thing. He goes, your ethnicity is very, very the pain tolerance isn't really there.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And he's like, it's the Scottish background.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And the same way why redheads tend to be a little
more sensitive.
And,
I did not know
and
that.
we do have, our grandmother was a blazing redhead, Scott. Yeah. So anyway, I said, oh.
Well, the white side of us is very white.
We're practically haunting homes. We're so white. So she gives me the fan and she goes, okay, just fan yourself, take your time, and I'll come back and check on you. And I said, okay, cool. So I'm laying there and I'm fanning myself and I had the little ice pack for a bit. But
Did it feel good?
Yeah, it was cooling. So then she comes in and she's like, okay. And she gives me the mirror. And I'm like, she goes, here, you can see for yourself. And I went, oh my God.
Were you like a lobster?
She go, no, but it was very red. And I'm like, this is very red. And I go, and we're sure this is not hives, right? She goes, no, it's not hives because the needles are circular.
Yeah.
So I had little like circle rounds on my face. I go, am I going to like have bruising, like circle bruising on my face? And she goes, nope, you won't. She was very confident. And I said, okay. And she goes, just take your time. And, cool, just with the fan. And when you're ready, just, you can leave, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I get up and I look at myself in the mirror and I immediately go, I look like Samantha Jones when she had the chemical peel.
I need a veil.
Legit. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, okay.
Was it both sides or just one?
Well, it was the one side that she did the full needle thing. Yeah. And then the other side was the laser treatment.
Right.
But where the laser treatment was, it too was, she calls it blooming. And it was blooming. Nice. So I had these big red dots on my face on the other side. And I was like, all right, let's just calm down. You're not going to look like this forever. Like this is just.
And you're going home.
I'm going straight home. And she's like, she came in again. She took the fan and she goes, okay, I normally do this, but I'm not going to do this for you. She's like, I normally put sunscreen on, but I'm not doing anything. You need to just go home. She's like, please don't take any Advil, but you can take Tylenol.
Why not Advil?
Because the swelling of the skin actually creates, collagen.
Oh.
So the swelling is actually important to these treatments.
Okay.
So if you take Advil, then you just
away.
literally reduce the whole point.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I didn't feel like I needed Advil, to be fair. I mean, it was burning, but she goes, it probably feels like a sunburn. I go, it feels like a sunburn.
Yeah.
But I was more concerned about the visual, not the pain, because the pain I can handle for the most part. The needle thing was not great. So I go out and I'm checking out, and she's like, okay, she wants to do 2 more before your next Botox appointment in April, and I went, oh, that's fast. She goes, yeah, she wants to get it. She really wants to see some results. I said, okay. And I said, I don't know if I can do this again.
Right.
And she goes, really? And I go, I mean, this is really painful. Yeah. And I'm really struggling. And she's like, okay. And I said, look, I know I signed a contract. I did.
You can say no though, right?
Well, I mean, it's not like they're going to take my arm if I don't do it.
Right. Or charge you the money, right?
Well, they could. But I mean, I did agree to do this from the beginning to the end. And I said, but you know what? Here's the other thing. it is my fantasy to be able to walk around in public without makeup on.
I know, right?
Because I have rosacea. It's always red.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to walk around and not have to.
That's the funny thing about us, because that's interesting that you pointed that out, because I know that, I don't know how to say this, but we're pretty women, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to say that, right?
It's fine.
Isn't it ridiculous though? That's hard to say that. But,
yeah.
And I've always wanted, and I've been told that. I mean, I love myself and everything else, but I've been told that. And I've always hated the fact that I feel like I must wear makeup everywhere I go.
Because of rosacea.
Because of my skin.
Yes.
It's not because I'm ugly.
No,
it's just
I get
because
it.
my skin, when it's totally bare, I just don't feel comfortable.
Right. And my whole life it's been this way. And so I said, so the problem is that as much as I didn't like the pain of it, it didn't last very long.
Yeah.
And once I knew it wasn't an allergic reaction, I'm like, okay, I can handle this.
Right.
So I went ahead and booked the appointments. I did it. I'm like, no, I'm doing this. Because if she says it is a more of extreme reaction, but it is a normal reaction, you'll be fine tomorrow. So I go home.
Was Daryl home?
I called Daryl on my way home and I said, I look like Samantha. He goes, no, you don't. And I go, I do. And he goes, okay, well, is it bad? I go, well, it ain't good. And so he goes, is it like unusual? And I go, she said no. So I go home, I walk in the door and he's like, hi, Samantha. And I'm like, ah. So I took a picture and I sent it to you.
You did?
I came home and I immediately said, I go, Stephanie, I look like Samantha. I just got this treatment on my face.
Oh my God.
And I sent you the picture and you're like, oh my.
Oh, that's right.
God.
God, how long is it? Was this like
It was almost a month ago.
I was going to say, we haven't seen each other.
It's been like 3 weeks. But anyway, so then Glenn and Greg, we were supposed to go to brunch on Sunday.
How did you look the next day?
Like nothing happened.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And did you like what you saw?
Well, I mean, I have noticed some pores have gotten very small, which is nice. Stephanie, I know.
I have the photo.
I know. It's
forgotten.
just.
Yeah, you know what? It's not that bad. Now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Well, but does it not look like Samantha after she had a chemical peel?
It does look, yes.
Yes, it does.
It definitely looks like something happened. I mean.
Yes, something happened.
You know what I mean? It doesn't look like you
Yes.
just woke up and like, oh, I'm having, no.
No, but with that being said, now that, and so Malia brought over this cooling spray, because you can't use anything that will reduce the swelling. So you have to just kind of treat it like a sunburn. And
Topically.
She's like, don't do aloe, don't do anything that'll reduce swelling. I know it's hard, but just.
It's a natural reaction to want to get something.
But you can do like, I have like a mask that's a cooling mask for migraines. So I just put it on my cheek. You can do stuff like that, but you have to be really careful about like anything anti-inflammatory,
Internally,
anything.
yeah.
So I'm like, and ultimately I did take a Tylenol because I had to go to sleep and it was really hard to sleep because I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I woke up the next morning and I looked in the mirror. I'm like, she was right. It's gone. Okay. Now it still is sensitive. And
Still? A month later?
No.
Oh,
Not now.
that next day.
It was sensitive for a couple of days and I did not wear makeup at all because it felt raw.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, well, now I know what I'm in for. I didn't know what I was in for. And I think
Yeah.
that's what was my reaction. Mm-hmm. And I felt bad because I think she was just like, she wasn't being at all arrogant or anything. She was being very reassuring. She goes, I promise you, you will look fine tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like,
She was right.
I believe you. I do. And I trust her. I really do. And so I'm very much hopeful that I see more results on the second treatment. I'm definitely asking for the numbing cream. She's like, oh, we don't need numbing cream for this. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then she does it. And I'm like, we need numbing cream.
Oh, you weren't going to do it?
No, she was doing it. But she's like, oh, that might be overkill. We might not need to do that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, probably not. And I'm like, no, we need it. We need it.
Yeah.
We need it. Definitely need it.
My son's a visionary. When he was having his blood drawn 6 times a week when he had COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
He begged the phlebotomist for numbing cream.
What a bright idea.
He's like, don't you have numbing cream for my arm? And she's like, no, there's no such thing. And I'm like,
why
listening
isn't
to
there?
you, I'm like, lies. I'm like, they have numbing cream. They put it on your face.
Yeah.
Why not do it for a little boy that's going to have his blood drawn?
Well, and not only that, but it's like, it takes no time for it to numb.
Yeah.
By the time you do everything, it'll be numb.
Yeah, that's probably why they don't do it for, because, they're so quick when they take your blood.
They're so fast.
It takes like 15 seconds.
If you get a good phlebotomist, you don't even know what's happening. Like I had to get my blood work done for this new doctor, and I went in, and first of all, once the world has seen your vagina push out a child, nothing.
Shots don't bother me.
Nothing bothers me.
I was actually quite surprised when I had my COVID shot how much that fucking hurt.
Charlie horse.
It hurt.
Yeah.
I was like, ow. It's reminded me
sure.
of a tetanus shot.
Yes. In the muscle.
Yeah, it really hurt.
I know.
And my arm fucking hurt for like days afterwards.
That's the biggest side effect is the soreness.
Yeah.
So she came in and
never get a vaccine at Safeway, by the way.
Okay.
No.
I won't.
I don't recommend it. I didn't think it would be. I'm like, everybody does it. I'd never had one at a pharmacy or a store before.
I decided randomly one day, because Daryl does not like. He does not like shots. Like, he gets white.
Well, Daryl doesn't.
He doesn't like anything to do with anything.
I watched him while you gave birth to Malia.
Oh, when he fainted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the funniest story ever.
I mean, it was a harrowing birth, to say the least.
No, it was.
But still.
I mean, I wasn't feeling queasy or faint.
Well,
but
no, because you were strong for me.
I was focused. Yeah,
yes.
Very.
You know what? Birth is women's work.
I agree.
It just is. I mean,
totally.
Mackenzie, my daughter, she's determined to have a child. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
God.
And she's like, here's the thing though. She's like, I don't want any men in there. And I'm like, okay. She goes, I just feel like this is a women's bonding moment. And I'm like, all right.
She's not wrong about that.
Well, it's true.
That's why when my husband, when they were trying to force him into the room when I was having my son, people legit thought that they were doing that for me. And I'm like, don't, because I don't need him here.
No.
I literally don't care if he's in the room.
No.
If the man wants to watch the birth of his child, that's fine. I'm not going to stop him.
But I don't need it.
But if if he's digging his heels in the ground like, nah, when she was, I'm like,
right.
leave him.
It's fine.
God.
This isn't about him anyway.
Nothing to do with him.
No. And I said, I respect that. But, her soon to be husband was like, I mean, I would like to see the birth of my child. And she's like, well, that's fine. But, you're going to be surrounded by my women folk. She's such a hippie.
God.
She's such a...
But you know what? Has she watched anybody have birth? I don't think she has she? No, she was way too young.
She should watch some videos first.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've done it so many times now.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us.
First of all, I mean, I don't think they do this in school anymore, but you and I never saw a birth in school. I should say that much.
I don't think I did either.
But television, you used to be able to watch births on PBS.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that anymore.
It was
the 70s.
Yeah, that's true. But also,
we were also very young, like 5.
You can't replace the real deal when you've actually witnessed somebody give birth. It's very different.
Yeah. Well, you and I watched. Well, I know Paula sent me the video of the woman birthing a baby in a stream, and the baby wasn't even born yet. There was a fly on its head. Like, why would you do that to a child?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
Well, I don't know. I don't understand.
Where's everybody else? And then her 2-year-olds running around filthy, and I'm like, you know what? This is way beyond me.
Never.
In a stream.
I would never do it. I watched a TikTok the other day.
There's amoebas in the water. What are you doing? God.
I have a friend who has a job where he travels the world everywhere, or even domestically, and ends up in strange places. And so I asked him, like, what's the weirdest place you've ever gone? Like, have you ever gone to like Moscow or somewhere where you wouldn't normally ever want to go, but you ended up there for work? He's like, actually, the weirdest place I ever went to was Nome, Alaska. I'm like, really? No. He's like, yeah, you can only get there by small plane or boat.
Okay.
And I was like, interesting.
And why did he go there? For work? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he sent me some pictures, and one of the pictures was him out in the wilderness picking wild blueberries. Wow. And he had him in his hand. That was the photo, was him holding the wild blueberries with the blueberry thing in the background. And I was like, are those blueberries? And did you eat them? He's like, yes. I was so excited to find wild blueberries. That's amazing. Just growing. And I picked them and I ate them. I go, you could get E. coli or something. I'm like, when deers poop on things, that's how people die. And he goes,
bears lick those things.
He's like, I survived. Okay. I'm like, okay, of course you did. But I know for me, that's the first thing I would have thought of. I'm like, no, I'm not eating that. And I need to rinse it or something before in boiling water. So giving birth,
just my luck
on a stream,
just my luck. I'd go, oh, look, wild blueberries. And they'd be like, go ahead, have one. I'd take a bite and I'd immediately get diarrhea.
That's what I'm saying.
Because of some parasite.
That would happen to me.
They're like, oh, the rare bear parasite. when they walk by and their fur touches it.
Well, I always remember when Odwalla first came out and they didn't pasteurize their juices.
Oh, yeah.
And a baby died. Several children got very, very sick and almost died, but one of them actually died. Because
I can't believe they were able to sell that here. We pasteurized the crap out of everything.
Now, well, they ended up getting sued, obviously, and now they do. But at the time, this was in the 90s. And what they discovered was that their policy was that they only picked fruit off the tree. They were not allowed to use any fruit that had fallen on the ground. Well, the workers who were out in the fields would occasionally pick one up if it looked all right on the ground.
They'd throw it in with the rest.
And they put it in. Well, what happened was this is how they discovered. They sent scientists out to the field,
of course,
and literally picked up the apples off the ground and tested them.
Versus
and there was a small amount of this field where deer had been grazing and they had pooped on their apples. And since you don't pasteurize them, there's a specific kind of E. coli that comes from deers.
Fools.
So when he said the wild blueberries thing, I was like, oh, hell no. I'm not eating any fucking blueberries off the ground.
Can I save these? Do you have a baggie?
I would have done that.
Yeah, can I have this?
I would have put them in my pocket or something.
Can I just do we have some kind of thing that I don't know.
Yeah, but I remember shit like that. I was like, no.
Yeah, and this is why our genes have survived hundreds of years, by the way. I always think about that. I always think like, I can go back so far in our ancestry line, like down to like 1300s, really far away. And that's not even talking about the Native American aspect of it, right?
Right.
And I'm like, we have survived for a reason. I don't know what it is, but we have
somehow, some way,
and we have children, so we'll continue our ancestry.
Have you ever wondered, like this, as they get more advanced with familial DNA and familial DNA? I'm like, wouldn't that be crazy if someone we were related to ended up being like a serial killer? Or I wouldn't even be surprised.
You know what? I totally want to know that.
I would not be shocked.
I will tell you this,
like, Uncle Butch, I knew it.
No.
Just kidding.
I have thought about that. I'm like, first of all, I don't think so.
No,
I think we would know.
No, you wouldn't know.
Well,
none of these people knew. Well, maybe they did. They wouldn't admit it. I guess you're right. But
yeah, and really,
we've had some crazy fucking people in our family.
Yeah, what I was going to tell you is on our grandmother, our mom's mom, on that side, that line, the maternal line all the way up, very English, and came from money. That's where I find all of the lords and ladies and stuff like that, right?
See, we knew it all along.
Of course. Well, not that long ago, that line, the Tuttles, Tuttle, the Tuttles were very well-to-do merchants, and they were tailors, and they sold clothes, basically, and they were very well-to-do. Well, one of them went a little nutty and killed their whole family with a hatchet.
Wow.
Including the kids. Everyone.
Wow.
And it was so bad that they absolutely, like, I don't even want to tell you what they did to him.
Oh, they killed him?
The village, what they did. They didn't kill him right away.
Right. No, they never did. Back then it was barbaric.
And then they left him laying in the street so
everybody could see.
Ever. Like no one would claim him.
Yeah.
No one. But they ended up some of them ended up moving to the United States.
Interesting.
And they were still kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
kind of ran in the family.
I think there's probably crazy people in all families at some point.
Well, yes, but for some reason, and it was a lot of it had to do with money. And so, there was a lot of murder in that family line.
Interesting.
And so our maternal great grandmother is a direct descendant of the Tuttles.
Interesting.
And I'm just like, and here's what's crazy. I was listening to a podcast and they did a whole episode on the Tuttles.
And you're like, that's my family.
Like, hey, that's my sixth great grandmother.
That is so interesting.
It was fascinating.
That is so interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
So I sent you a YouTube video that I got off the Marky's website.
Oh,
so
yes.
If you guys don't know who Marky's is a caviar gourmet high-end restaurant store in Manhattan, and it's owned by Danielle's family, who we also follow on TikTok. We love Danielle and her husband. Fuck's his name? Yeah, Alani. I thought that was a fascinating story about because I knew beluga was
caviar, yeah.
Well, and I knew it was outlawed a long time ago because of
they're endangered,
completely endangered,
yes.
Like almost gone.
Yes.
So, and that how amazing was it for her
the
dad?
Timing.
to bring a fish over here and start a farm.
Started a farm, and then like a year later, they outlawed imports of beluga fish.
Yes. It's still incredibly expensive, but it's on my bucket list. Like, I want to
try beluga caviar.
Yes, I want to.
Yeah, I guess I would. I mean, I'd be curious about it.
I'm just because I love caviar. So
do I.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know if you loved it too.
Oh yeah, we have some in the fridge right now that we've been saving.
God. Yes, so I love it. And I did buy Marky's caviar before.
Yeah, did you like it?
I loved it.
Oh, it was good?
God, I bought so much. It was ridiculous.
Oh, God.
I had to try like 3 or 4 different kinds.
I want to go to her store so
do
bad.
I. Oh, my God. If you and Daryl ever go back to Manhattan, you have to go there.
Oh, my God. We will.
Yeah.
Immediately. Although, I mean, if you ever go to Florida, I believe there's a Florida market.
Yeah. Oh, she has one. There's one in Miami.
Yeah. So if you ever go to visit your daughter, 100%. You'll be like, oh, by the way, I'll be back in 4 hours.
Yeah, totally. I absolutely will. Yeah,
for sure. Wait. Oh my God. So. You know, I'm so intimidated to go to Miami because everyone there is gorgeous.
Oh my God, Jamie.
I don't want to walk in. I don't want people to go, who's that little shrub of a person?
I'm telling you.
All those tall, stunning, beautiful Colombians. And I
mean, the men and
Cuban,
the women.
Oh no.
They're just
They'd be like, oh, what are you doing here?
You little cream puff.
Why are you here? It's like, why are you so pale? Get out of here. You don't even belong.
I'm like, well,
what are you trying to pull here? You don't belong.
I like carbs.
I can't help it. I like rum.
I eat pizza and drink rum.
It's so true.
Yeah.
God. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I won't say anything more because we talked about it briefly before the show, but you definitely have to watch Griselda.
Yeah. So I'm almost done with it. Yes, we talked about
that. So good. Now I will say
really,
this.
Really good.
I struggled because I really just was rooting for her.
Yeah.
Well, and I hate that because it's like she was a not bloodthirsty, but she was a killer.
She was a killer. But
Hardcore.
But the one thing about her, I will say, is that she did everything with purpose.
It felt like that.
She didn't kill for the thrill of it.
She didn't.
She did it to make points, to prove points, to defend territory or whatever.
Will say. And you know, from what I've read, and I don't try to go too deep into it because it scares me. From what I understand, the cartel does not normally just wreak havoc. There are some that do, but the ones that are involved in selling product, they aren't interested in causing a lot of chaos because it can mess with their business.
That's true. I think that was probably more true in the 60s, 70s, and 80s than it is now.
That was kind of what I'm thinking, is that it used to be.
Because nowadays it kind of feels like some of these cartels do murder innocent people for no reason at all.
For fear. Yeah, just to keep people afraid.
So not necessary.
It's terrifying.
Everybody's terrified of the cartel if you live in Mexico or border states. Yeah.
I know.
You do not want to fucking get off the wrong path in Mexico.
Never. So I've been invited to vacation in Mexico many times, and every time I say no.
Like, I can't.
I know people go and they're like, you're being ridiculous. It's not that bad. And I know people who practically live there. They vacation, they go there, they spend 6 months of the year there, and everything's totally fine. I have bad luck when it comes to stuff like that. And I'm not interested in doing it. I told Greg the other day, I said, if I ever went to Mexico, my name would suddenly be Campos. I can tell you that much.
But I'm telling you, they don't care.
I know they don't.
That's the thing. My friend she's a freaking dual citizen, went down there terrified. So it really doesn't matter. My thing is just this: like, there are so many amazing places to travel to.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to go somewhere tropical with beaches and stuff like that. Why go there when you can go to thousands of other places?
I don't think I could relax even if nothing ever happened. If nothing happened and it would be considered a dream vacation, I would never be able to sleep.
I can't do it.
I would just be so apprehensive.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
I can't do it. I would not. I would have anxiety the whole time.
Yeah.
I get anxiety when I'm going on a great vacation. I don't know why. I just get anxiety.
I do too.
It just doesn't even matter what I'm doing, you know?
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
The only place I truly feel safe is when I'm literally in my house. I'm like, I can actually, I know, it's crazy. It's stupid.
You know what? That's interesting because whenever we go to places, if I feel like, wow, this is home, this feels like home to me.
That's good.
Then I go, I could live here.
I think that's one of the reasons why I've been more partial to renting houses now that I'm starting to, when we travel. It's just something about feeling like a home. Yeah. Like your own home.
I don't know. It's like the vibe.
Yeah.
Like, we went to Boston and we got off the plane and we were in the airport and I said, I feel like I've been here my whole life.
That's crazy.
I don't know what that is.
And you know what's funny is my ex-husband said that of all the cities in the world he's been to, he hates Boston.
Isn't that interesting? Everybody's different though.
Yeah.
Like everyone's different.
He's like, oh, you don't know? And I'm like, no. Like, what's with Boston? He's like, oh my God, it's horrible. I'm like,
I did not feel that way at all.
But then you said that. And when you came back from there, and I was like, wow.
It was amazing. And I did say, I'm like, I could live in Boston 100%. And somebody goes, come back in December and see if you feel, the same way.
Is it liberal? Is that why?
No, not necessarily the political thing.
Well, I mean, not necessarily not the politics, but the people. If you live in a liberal state, the people tend to be more like that too.
I will say this,
and I'm wondering if that's why my ex didn't like it.
Most people that I encountered in stores or whatever, they aren't friendly.
Yeah,
they're very not friendly, but they're not mean to you. They're just not. Hey, how's
They're not
it going?
bothered. Yeah,
not at all. They just like, what would you like? You know, like I went to Zara there and I bought a shirt or whatever, and I was waiting in line, and you know, I walk up, I'm like, hey, how's it going? She's all side eye me. She's like, fine. Like, why do you want to know how I'm doing?
Right. Like, I'm not here to have small talk.
Yeah, she's like $20. I'm like, thanks, and she's like, next.
See, I read,
and I'm not offended.
No,
that's the thing, because you can tell it's not personal, but she's just like, why? Like, what's your game?
Yeah,
what do you want? We're doing a transaction.
Well, I kind of feel like we're naturally like that.
Well, California's very friendly.
Well, no, we are friendly,
yeah,
but I feel like
very common
me and you as
feeling.
Human beings don't necessarily need small talk and all of that shit. It's just that we're conditioned to do it.
You know what? And I really admire
and I would sometimes rather not. But I do it because I'm like,
I'm not good at it.
It's polite, so you do it, but you really don't want to.
No, not at all. Did you have an ugly and awkward moment? I haven't had one.
Gosh, my life.
I don't think I've had one. I haven't fallen. My life is ugly and awkward. I haven't
had anything significant happen. I shouldn't have said that, but now it will.
Now you're going to curse yourself.
Yeah. But no, I've been relatively awkward free, other than my normal awkward self. Which I'm awkward all the time.
It was funny. I haven't had any significant awkward moments either, which is interesting because that's surprising. But especially since Daryl's been traveling, I've had to do a lot on my own, you know, which is fine.
Get gas lately?
No. You know what? This is how good he is. He literally got gas in my car the night before he left.
Just to make sure in case you have to go anywhere.
Yep. He's like, just in case.
That is so sweet.
It really is sweet. I know I'm lucky. I get it. He's still a man though.
So lucky. No. We talk about Daryl is not without flaws. Oh. But the things he's good at, he's really good at.
It's true. It's so true. Like he can deal with dying animals. Thank God.
Yeah.
Like the other day we personally don't have a rat problem. We had one during the pandemic when all the restaurants shut down. All of a sudden, Stephanie, I'll never forget it. I was so afraid. I was sitting in the front room by myself. It was like dusk time period. Mm-hmm. The dogs were in, and out of nowhere, no less than 5 rats came running up onto the deck and started taking dog food.
Oh my God.
And I started screaming. And I'm like, because I didn't know what to do. Because rats inherently don't scare me, but multiples.
Well, yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm like, who are we? What is this?
What's happening?
What? I couldn't believe it.
I would have thought I
couldn't believe
terror thing was about to happen.
And I said, we have rats. And Daryl's like, what? And I'm like, look, they're hopping around. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, this is horrible. So when that happened, I think Paula was like, get an exterminator immediately. And I'm like, here's the thing. I live behind an easement by the river. It's not possible to eliminate them. No. There's nothing I can do.
The only time you do something is if they're coming into your house.
They did not. But
if they're not coming into the house,
check. We checked under the. We checked under the house. You would know. We checked around the perimeters.
Yeah.
They did get into the sprinkler system because we have big drainage pipes, and so they did get in through there, and it was disgusting, and we had to deal with that. Gross. But so
if they're just outside existing, there's really nothing you can do.
Occasionally they come through, and so we will put a trap over and try to just eliminate them because our neighbors have a spa, and so they nest under the spa.
Oh,
and so occasionally if they come in, I'll be like, it's a big one. We got to get rid of it because it's gonna have babies.
God.
And so the other day, it was a couple weeks ago, and I said, hey, the trap is gone. And he goes, what? I go, yeah, it's like in the garden bed now. And he goes, okay. He goes, well, they probably got away. It was probably, like you said, it was big, so it probably triggered it and got out because they were too big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, disgusting.
Or it didn't get the whole thing.
River rat.
They're gross.
So he's gone for a while. And then he comes in. He's very distraught. And I go, what's up? And I go, was it a squirrel? because, that's our biggest fear.
Just to catch one.
Or like a cat or something. Like it's our biggest fear.
I'd die.
And he goes, no, it was a rat. I go, was it big? He goes, it was big. And I go, well, what happened? He goes, well, it was big enough that it triggered it as it was running by, and it got its leg. Oh, God. And I said, he goes, so I went out there and I saw it, and it was laying in the flower bed. And I thought he thought it looked dead to him.
Well, how long had it been there?
Overnight. It was in the morning. It hadn't been, long enough that it was tortured,
Oh, God.
So I said, so what? He goes, so I took my shovel to kind of get it, and it started writhing. It started moving around, trying to get away. And he said it was clearly in pain. The leg was clearly ruined. It was going to die eventually. He goes, so I had to put it out of its misery. And he goes, and I really don't like doing that. And I'm like, yeah, especially when it almost got away.
Yeah.
I go, well, if you had freed it, would it have survived? He goes, no, that leg was toast.
Would have died.
And it was too high, so it probably hit its spine and all the things. And I'm like, you know what? Why do we live where we're dealing with this stuff? Like, this is insanity. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah. I'm like, we need cats. We need cats.
Cats. No, I'm telling you, I have many, and they would just watch one run by and be like, I'm not putting that filthy thing in my mouth. Yeah, our cats are like us. They're demons.
Our dogs won't kill them.
That's shocking.
They won't be bothered.
They kill everything else, but not a rat.
No.
Lovely.
I know. Anyway. All right. Well, I think that's the show. Yeah. Thanks for listening. I'm so glad we're back together.
Yay.
And we will have more content coming up in the next week or so. Thank you.